Hey friends, thanks for clicking on the video. My name is Chad and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to tell you the story of the reason why I stopped making YouTube videos. Today, I'm going to tell you about how our Tesla Model X was stolen out of our garage. Okay, here's how mornings usually go in our house. We wake up 5 to 20 minutes later than we should. We rush through showers, we rush through breakfast, and finally, one of us rushes out the door with the kid, and one of us rushes out the door without the kid. On this particular morning, my wife had the kid. Okay, so this was back in 2019, believe it or not. My wife was still working full time, so she was in a hurry. It was a damp morning, it was wet outside, you could see the mist in the air. So we both knew that we were gonna be dealing with traffic. Needless to say, everything was pretty normal. I was jumping into the shower when I heard my wife scream. I could hear sobbing, and from the other side of the house, I heard, "Chad!" It was one of those screams that you dream about, like that you're terrified to hear from your spouse or your significant other. It was terrifying. I knew something was wrong. Immediately, I jumped out of the shower, put on clothes, and ran to her as fast as I could. That's when she said the words that I will remember for the rest of my life. The tone of voice, everything. She looked me dead in the eyes and she said, "The Tesla is gone." I didn't exactly register what it was that she had said, but I walked out into the garage and the garage door was half open. There was damage to the house, to the wall, to the garage door itself, and there was no Tesla in the garage. It was completely gone. It was one of the weirdest and most surreal moments I've ever experienced in my life. I had to stop and figure out exactly what was going on. I had to just take in the moment. I had to slow down and I had to realize that this was very real. My wife was in shock, I was in shock, and then our poor kid was just terrified and crying, and he kept saying, "Our Tesla is gone, our Tesla is gone," even though I don't think he really understood what it meant that he was saying. Okay, I want to pause here really quick before I get too far into the story. Let's cover a couple of the questions that are going to pop up immediately. One, yes, the garage door was closed that night. We know it was closed. It was not left open. They did have to break into the garage to get the car out. The damage was enough to the house and the garage that we know for sure that they did break in. We had a lot of anxiety about this in the beginning, but the garage door was closed. They physically broke into the garage to get the Tesla out. Back to the story. From that point, it was, how do we handle this situation? So my wife called 911. We checked through the garage to check for damage. We checked to see if anything else was missing. We checked the Honda to see if the Honda had been broken into, which it had, as a matter of fact. It was about this moment in the whole experience that I realized I needed to go grab my phone. So I ran across the house to the bedroom, grabbed my phone, and pulled up the Tesla app. I don't want to be too hyperbolic about this, but there were a couple things running through my mind at this time. The first was that the Tesla was probably long gone. I assumed it was way far away. And then the second thought that I had was that obviously it was just gonna ghost and we'd never see it again. That was it. It was just gone. Instead, we got a lucky break. As it turned out, the Tesla was actually only about 5 minutes away from our house. It was parked in a very public space, and if we needed to get there, we could get there really quickly. I called my brother-in-law and told him to head over to where the car was at and to take a look and see if he could find it. He was only a couple minutes away from where it was, so it worked out really well. And it was about this point in the story where the police showed up. Hey everybody, if you're liking the story of how the Tesla got stolen, be sure to click that like button and be sure to click that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future videos. Okay, let's clear up a few things right off the top. The police officers that came to our house to help out with the situation were incredibly generous and helpful. They were super kind and super nice. We had a great experience with the police officers overall. They were polite, they were understanding, and they made us feel at ease. I don't want to paint them as doing a bad job because they didn't. They did a great job. Everything was great. So the police arrived, and the first thing they did was ask us what was missing, which was funny. We told them that our car was missing, obviously. They asked if the other car had been touched. We said yes. They asked us if anything in the house was missing. Weirdly, it hadn't dawned on us at this point that anything in the house could be missing. We had never even thought about them entering our house at that point. So it got kind of emotional in that moment because our garage does share a wall with our kid's bedroom. We both got kind of emotional thinking about it. So I went back into the house. I went through everything, went through all the stuff close by, went as far, went through the whole house. And I can say with certainty that they did not go into the house. Okay, this is where the funny moment happened to me. As we're going through all the details, at this point, I told the police officers that I knew where the Tesla was. They both looked at me dumbfounded. What do you mean you know where it is? Do you have like a load jack on your car? I said, no, but Tesla has an app on the phone that you can use to do a number of things with the car, and one of the things that it does is show you the location of your vehicle. To which both officers just kind of responded, well, isn't that something? That's great. Let's take a look. Somewhere in the middle of that discussion, my brother-in-law called me back, and he confirmed our suspicion and our hope that Tesla was there. It was right where the app said it was. He was standing right with it. He also told us right off the bat that as far as he could tell, everything with the car was fine. From there, we went through the normal steps with the police. We learned that several cars in our area had been stolen that night. It was spring break for the schools, so the going theory was that kids were just out causing trouble and stealing cars. We disagreed immediately with that assessment for the Tesla, just based on a few different things. Mainly that they literally destroyed our garage to get in and get the Tesla out. That didn't seem like something kids would do. So at this point, the police had been treating it like someone had stolen a Honda or a Nissan or something like that. When they asked us the value of the Tesla, that's when the tone of the conversation really changed. It became much more serious. We went through everything, a second and a third time. The police had sent an officer to meet my brother-in-law. The police were able to confirm as well that the Tesla was there. They asked if we wanted it fingerprinted. That was an interesting question. Went over the details of what that would look like with the police, weighed the pros and the cons. If it was going to be fingerprinted, it would have taken some unknown amount of time. There would have been more damage to the vehicle. We just weren't sure we were going to get anything helpful from it. We declined the fingerprinting and analysis of the car. And because we declined that, we were able to take the Tesla back into our possession right there in the parking lot. So that was it. We recovered it that quick. I think all in all, it was only a couple of hours between us discovering that it had been stolen, to filing the police report, to finding the Tesla in the parking lot, and then recovering it. So that was it. That was the play-by-play of the morning, the night, the day that our Tesla Model X got stolen. So you're asking yourself, Chad, that was a couple years ago. Did they catch the people that did it? Was everything okay in the end? Great question. Let me try to fill in a couple of those blanks for you. First, they didn't make any arrests. No. I'll come back to that in a second. Second, because of the weather that day, you'll remember I mentioned that it was misting and really wet. We actually weren't able to see the amount of damage that was done to the Tesla while it was sitting there in the parking lot. It had a glossy finish from the rain and the mist. It actually looked really pretty. I think I had some photos. But yeah, you remember when I said that the garage door was broken? Well, the garage door was broken because they rammed the Tesla out underneath it. That's the hard part for us to understand, that none of us woke up. Our kiddo claims a little bit that he did wake up when it happened, but yeah, I don't know if that's true or not. They did leave behind some damage. We did file a claim with insurance and got everything eventually taken care of. All in all, in the end, we had to have a few sensors replaced. We had to have the top glass replaced. We had to have the back windshield replaced, as well as the back spoiler. Okay, back to the police. We actually learned through our insurance company that a full investigation had been launched by the police department. We never actually heard back from the police department. Apparently, at least 4 other cars were stolen in a bubble around our house that same day, that same night, which led the police department to dig in deeper on the situation. All that actually made filing our insurance claim a lot easier. It turns out that it's not exactly easy to prove that your car got stolen. That wasn't something that we really knew about, but having that investigation made it easier to file our claim. Okay, so a couple final points on this whole thing that we think are pretty interesting. First, there was no key in the Tesla when it was stolen. That kind of made us think that the person who stole it knew what they were doing. And we've also heard from others that houses like ours that are built like ours amplify the key signal, so maybe just where the key was just happened to allow it to be unlocked and driven away. Unfortunately, we're still not exactly sure what happened. Second thing is that it took about 6 months to get the repairs done at a service center. Most of that time was spent waiting for parts. We went through a Tesla authorized center. We didn't go through an actual Tesla service center, and our local service center was fantastic. Super, super thankful that they were able to take care of it. We also learned that we were apparently the first Tesla theft in our area. We got that information from a couple different places. I won't go into that, but yeah, pretty cool. I don't know. Well, yeah, we thought it was neat. And yeah, this is, this was the reason why I stopped making YouTube videos. It caused a lot of shock and a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety. Put that on top of what we were already dealing with as a family, and that shut us down completely. So this is it. This is where we found the Tesla when it was missing. Like I said before, we were able to quickly identify where it was on the Tesla app, and we moved over to this parking lot. My brother-in-law was able to come over and find it. A police officer was able to come over and find it, and then finally at the end we were able to drive over here ourselves and literally just pick it up and take it home, and that was it. So that's really the end of the story. The one other thing I kind of wanted to mention as a part of this and sort of have a little fun with is basically 5 things that we learned through this experience. So the first thing we learned is that we need to take home security much more seriously than we do. I grew up in a town that was a leave your doors unlocked, never lock your car, nothing like that ever. That's just not the world anymore, I guess. And, you know, I don't mean that as some country kid looking back and, oh, how the times have changed and whatever. No, I don't feel that way about it. I just have to change and get used to it, and that's okay. We did up our home security game after this whole thing happened. We had to get our garage fixed the same day. We went ahead and did home security the next day. The second thing we learned is that driving an expensive car is a responsibility, and it comes with some added pressure. We know that people look at our car different. We know that people want to talk about it, that it's a focal point, that people know how much it costs. And we know that there's people out there who, you know, want to cause chaos and do weird things. So we are a little more aware of the pressure that comes with driving the car that we do. We're a lot more careful about the little things, making sure it's locked, making sure we're taking care of it, things like that. Third thing we learned is the feeling when your personal space, private space, your safe space is violated. You know, it's not a good feeling. It's hard to explain the emotions behind it. You know, we were in shock for a long time. Our kid still talks about it and still doesn't quite understand exactly what happened, but knows that there's bad people out there who do bad things. It's a really crappy feeling having your stuff get stolen. Now, I had some break-ins on my car before, but nobody ever really took anything big. So this was a big deal to me especially, and yeah, it's just not a good feeling when someone's one wall away from your kid's bedroom stealing. We learned to appreciate the local handymen who are available for quick work. Being able to sort out a big problem really fast is incredibly helpful. Our garage was fixed by before 5 p.m. We didn't have a single day go by with the door being stuck open. The garage door got fixed. The wall got fixed. It was really comforting to know how fast people were able to lend us a hand and get things fixed for us. And then finally, I think, you know, we learned to not take anything for granted. We are very lucky to be in the position we are in, being able to have such a wonderful car. It's not something we take lightly. So we respect our belongings a little more than we did before. You know, overall, just a really crazy experience. Really humbling. So that's it. That's the story of how our Tesla Model X got stolen. If you guys like the story, be sure to click that like button down below. Help us beat the YouTube algorithm and reach out to more people. Thank you so much for watching the video. It means the world to me. Be sure to leave any questions or comments down in the comments below. Thank you so much for clicking this video. I'll see you guys in the next one.